finally got it in the shop. Hey. So this is my Chevy C10. And I bought it in a lot of 5 rigs that were sold as parts because they weren't working. When I got it, the shocks in the rear had been moved to the frame, and they had lost one of the, because they replaced it. It mounted to the shock mount, so they lost one of the screws. So I had to replace one of the screws. I returned it to stock, and pretty much all the lug nuts were kind of loose, and it had a blown motor. That was its problem. Again, that's why I did a video about the most common part. And I think the most common, a lot of people are saying the servo is the most common part to go. On someone who knows how to wheel, you will fry the servo before the motor will last. But people who drive like a wing nut will fry the motor in a real hurry. And that's what happened to this one, I believe. It was driven by someone who just didn't understand what RCs are for, or at least they didn't understand what RC crawlers are for. And so he wheeled it and he broke the motor, and then it got sold to a hobby shop and then listed on eBay in a parts lot. And then I bought it. I used the stock motor from the Ford Bronco that we have and ran it like that for a while because we upgraded the Bronco's motor, and then, you know, had a spare motor laying around. And then I let a friend drive it, and he drove it like a wingnut, and he burned up the motor really quick. So when Mom saw that happen, I mean, when a subscriber saw this, they purchased and sent me a new motor. It was my mom, because my mom is subscribed. But anyways, Mom bought this new motor for me, and I can't help myself. I couldn't just bring myself to just put a motor on it. So today I'm actually going to build out the entire truck. You know it's going to be a good build when you brought power tools. Okay, so I'm actually going to build out the entire truck into basically what I want it to be. I don't think it will ever go beyond what I'm going to do to it today, because we're going to do like the most you can do to a class 1 rig, I think. You can tell me I'm wrong in the comments. Let's preface all of this. I'm a beginner. I'm not an expert builder. I don't have 500 trucks. I haven't put $1 million into this hobby yet, but I do know kind of what I'm doing. So that said, if you see me do something wrong, feel free to correct me in the comments. I mean, be nice about it. I mean, I will delete any comments that have swears in it. I will tell you that. Don't use swears or profanity or dirty jokes. Those aren't okay with me. This is going to be a good, safe, family-friendly channel, and so will the comments section, as long as I have something to say about it. So, because this thing has blown the motor twice, I actually have another stock motor and transmission from another rig in here because I wanted to get some good baseline footage of what it was like stock. I will say it impressed me. I did not expect what it was going to be able to go up stock. It was impressive, but it still leaves something to be desired. So I was surprised, but I wasn't surprised, because there were some situations where with some of these upgrades I'm going to put on, it will make a difference. And as I put the upgrades on, I'm going to tell you what they are and the effect that they're going to have, and you can decide what you want. You don't have to build exactly like I am. But besides that, let's just go ahead and get started. All right, so to save time, we'll watch it in fast motion. I have an Ergenix 450 mAh battery. I bought 2 of them. One of them went in the Bronco. I have Endura crawler tires. These are 56 millimeters, and I bought them in a bundle with these silicone inserts. They're going to let it squish like they're aired down, but they're not going to let the sidewalls roll, so we can keep good side pressure. Don't drill into your finger. Doing this in a vise would be much better. Get parental help. I'm going the right direction. I'm going the right direction. Wow, that's harder than I thought it was going to be. Let's put some pressure on it this way. I think this is a 1/16 seal, but it doesn't need to be very big. There we go. And I think just one hole in the center ring is enough, because the other 2 halves of the rim are not going to create an airtight seal. And that'll give us a vent so that the tires can squish and do their thing. There's longer screws that will help you line up those hubs if you're having trouble, but it was really easy for me. I went with the stamped steel Endura rims in black, and I did not flip the hubs, so they're actually inset a little bit further. I decided to do my build by preparing everything that I could before I put it on the rig, everything that I could. Here we have high clearance suspension links from Hobby Park.
Make sure the bends go towards the back. I took out one O-ring on each side. Now I'm taking the Endura shocks apart, checking they all came with oil in them, and I put on the softest springs, set them aside. Now I'm going to take out the transmission and the motor and swap the motor. We're using an Endura 050 50-turn motor, and it actually has a snap-on heat sink, which is kind of cool. You have to change your motor plate to do this, but it's really easy, guys. This motor has a lot more torque to it. Now, I'm actually just going to set it aside because you're going to have to respline the axles, the drive shafts when you put the axles back in, and it's easier to do it on the motor and transmission side than it is on the axles side. So I'm just going to set that aside and work on the axles. We put in a rear diff cover on the rear axle, attach the suspension linkage and the shocks. Now we went to the front axle, and I stripped it all the way down to the housing, and here I am shaving the housing down so that it will be able to turn further with these brass knuckles, which I got from Hobby Park. They came with the diff covers. I'm going to install an overdrive gear set from Endura in the front differential, another brass diff cover. We're going to use an Eco Power plastic. It's the budget model servo. Just plug it in and set your trim to 0 so that it will center itself. And let's think what else we did. Oh, I have CVD front shafts from, axle shafts from OGRC. And now I'm trimming the fenders because these trucks are known for having really tight fenders. It's really hard to fit big tires. That's why I was happy to use the 56s. I have actually rewired my headlights. The headlights were in the bumper originally, but I wired them with longer wires so that it can go up into the grill because there's actually a mount to put them in the grill. And now we're going to compare it stock versus upgraded. If you were wondering, this is how you fry a motor. You push into stuff like that. That is bad. Don't do that. That's a bumper issue. No. Notice that tire hanging in the air, and we had to back up. Now we're keeping all the tires on the ground, and we didn't have to back up. Wow, okay, that was actually very impressive. I did not think it would do that. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Ooh, settle back down. Can we go down this safely? What's this? Whoops. Oh yeah.
Oh, we're keeping all the wheels on the ground now. Wow! Okay, I really didn't think it was going to make it up that. Oh.
So after watching this again, I see what my problem was. See, I tried to bump up it like I was stock. And that was not what it needed.
I want to beat it up.
If you go nice and slow, it goes right up.
There it is. We didn't get through there before either. Oh, yes. It actually made it better, you know? Alright, so then I'm going to say no chance. Our verticals need work. Huh. I wonder if we need a limit strap or something. Or stiffer springs in the rear. We'll see how the little C10 does. So we inadvertently created a kind of repeatable course. Ah! We're too light on the front end. A little help. A little more help. This is the same route that we took in the brother battle. Let's see how it does now. Get those new tires dirty. This oil-filled shocks are absorbing a lot of bounce, not all of it. Pulled out of that. These are kind of spots where we fall into holes, especially with smaller wheels. Getting our linkage, I think. So we'll help it just a bit. Maybe I could have got that if I had. Oh. All right. Little bigger tires get us over this obstacle. Oh, oh, oh.
need an aftermarket bumper, let me tell you. But once we make it taller and put bigger tires on, we'll see. Can I work myself into a position where I can... Nope. Even if we get our tires up on there. Nope. Let's try going up this spot. Oh my goodness, the bumper just hits everything. I'm feeling like this thing would be much more capable if I just take the body off, yeah. But that's not the point. Alright. It's able to do that, but I'm hearing the body hit all kinds of stuff. Very nice. Oh. Come on. Now that's a line the Gladiators were not able to make. And it's making a really close attempt at it. It did it! Okay. It did something the blue truck couldn't. It's on now. That bumper is gonna be a problem. Very nice. Oh, you're stuck. I don't know on what. I think we just fell into a little bit of a hole and we couldn't get out. Short wheelbase handles well in there. Lacking a little traction, lacking a little servo power. It's a bunch of little things, but I think we're going to be better. There it is. There's also a bunch of things where I wish I could go slower and use more power, and I don't have it. Okay, let's see if I can come back up this way. So that's having a hard time. Let's fix that. I don't know why that's bent. just hitting the bumper there if I just put it. Yeah, see? Oh. Oh. I will say, I've never driven the cheap EcoPower servo. I feel like I do not have enough power, but maybe this is the version 1 ESC. I'm not sure. We'll have to try this on something else. Wow. That's making that look easy. We'll see if he can come back up this way. Oh, yes. That was phenomenally better. Even if we did just get stuck. Oh my. Alright guys, we just got back from a little trail ride. That's why he is so muddy. You will see the trail ride coming in the future. And I'm very pleased with how it performed. I'm very happy with the articulation and with the action of the shocks. I'm not quite happy with the servo. It doesn't have a whole lot of power. I think the Emax servo is much more powerful in my initial observations here. And I actually had to remove the CVDs that I installed in the front because they seem to be slowing the steering down. They seem to be binding it up. I think they were giving us more steering. I don't know. I'm not going to give up on those quite yet. I'm going to try it again. Maybe I need to try them in a different rig because maybe they're just not getting along with these specific brass knuckles. But what do you guys think? I think we have maintained a very realistic and very scale look. It looks like a built Chevy, and I think the performance is phenomenally better than it was. I am so happy. It just doesn't, it has much less of those moments where it just gets hung up and it's just spinning tires and it's not going anywhere, and it can climb, and we still need a little more weight up front, I think, but I think the comparison of before and after kind of speaks for itself. I did one last little finishing touch there. I gave it a V8 because we put the big block in it. Thank you guys for watching. Stay safe, stay on the trail, and until next time, stick to the old paths.